going on, everybody? It's Sasquatch Wizard Adirondacks. So gonna make a little trip up into research area 2. I do have a goal. A few times last year I wanted to get back over on the back side of this ridge to investigate 2 pretty hefty pieces of log that were propped up on a dead tree that had fallen. And that's where I'm gonna go. So we've got typical for this time of the year, truck parked down in the parking lot. The guy's up in here fishing. Good luck to him. I almost wish I was. I did bring a small fishing pole and I was gonna hike back up in there, but I guess the Sasquatch research is kind of overpowering my need to go back there and catch a brook trout. But believe me, I'll be on the edge of that pond soon. So I bring you in because I found something very interesting. I was up here, it wasn't very long ago at all, right? Jeepers, maybe 2 weeks ago, I think. A couple weeks ago I was up here, and this wasn't on the trail. Now, it could be absolutely nothing, but if you recall, this winter, early in the winter, I came up into here and had some action. I'm chalking it up to there was a wild dog up here, or possibly, somebody's house dog. Or it could have been a Sasquatch mimicking a dog. I have no proof to back that up. So, it is what it is. It was quite the experience. Right where I'm at right now, I had said on the video, I have something off to the left of me crunching in the woods. Now that sounded just like a full-grown man taking 3 steps. And I had my night vision with me, and I had my headlamp. I was looking over there, I was putting the headlamp over, I was looking with the night vision. I didn't see nothing, I didn't hear nothing. I took a few more steps, went up a little bit further, and discovered that I could put my phone camera up to my night vision and get a pretty decent shot. And if you go back and look at the video, you'll come to an area where, not far from here, I saw what appeared to look as if that there was not a man, looks like if it was a man, then he had no clothes and fur, and he had an afro, and looked as if that he had his arm around a tree, and it was right there. I can't find that. I've been up here during the day, walked all over the place. I can't find how that image could have possibly been there like I can view it in the video, in the pictures. So I just don't know. That same very moment, with all this within, other than the dog barking episode in the beginning there, all this happened within a half hour, or less than a half hour. A rock, a meteor or something, but it came through the trees, and it came through from, it was hitting branches and slinging through them branches at a high rate of speed, shot straight down in front of me and landed in the ground somewhere out in front of me, 20-30 yards. And I said then, and still think now, that rock came from a long ways away, because the trajectory that it came out of the sky and cut through those branches and trees was almost exactly what, if you've ever gone golfing and somebody's hit a golf ball and you're over near the woods and one goes slinging through the trees, lick-tickety-tick-tickety-tock, and then poop. Well, that's what happened. Well, I'm right in that area, okay? I'm just getting ready to come up into here. This could be absolutely nothing, but let's take a look. Let me set this other camera down. There we go. All right, I'm gonna spin this camera around and I'm gonna explain what it is that I'm seeing. So, coming up the trail, I have this tree across the trail. That's a pretty stout tree. And if you look over there, you can see that it's very likely that it was just time for this tree to fall over. The root structure is not very formidable. It definitely could have just fallen over. I don't want to get all the way over in here because I'm still somewhat investigating this. I've taken some time to take a look at it. All right, so I'm looking around over here, okay, because I'm researching Sasquatch, right? So obviously I'm looking for any evidence that would lead me to believe that a Sasquatch had knocked this tree down. You might say, why would you think a Sasquatch would knock a tree down? Well, I'll tell you why. That was quite an episode that I had when I was up here. And what if a Sasquatch put this tree down across this trail as a sign, stay out? Maybe they have finally come to realize that, you know, this guy's coming up in here repetitively. He's on to us. I really hope that they don't leave the area. I've heard those stories before. I hope that isn't what happens. But, all right, let's take a look at everything that's going on here and keep that in mind. It is known that Sasquatch do tree breaks for many different reasons. Do your research. They will also purposely break a tree, push a tree down across the trailway, and that's pretty much telling you, stay out. We don't want you to come through here. It might not necessarily be for me. For all I know, I could have stumbled in this last year. I could have stumbled in here with a new group that has moved into the area, and you know, and I don't know, you know, maybe that's what this is. Let's take a look at this again, and then let's investigate it. All right, so that's what we got. We got this pretty hefty tree across the trail, clearly across the trail. Now, something that I saw right off the bat when I walked up, I noticed that head's been worked pretty well. But that simply, think about me. Let's say I'm not up here to do Sasquatch research. I'm up here to go fishing. How am I going to go over that log? Well, I'm either going to come over here and I'm going to walk under it, and I can see where the ground has been disturbed. Looks as if there's a little disturbance here and there. There's a broken branch on the ground here. Yeah, I could go under it. Oh. I'm not a great big huge fella, so I can go under it pretty all right. But if I had a great big old pack on and my sleeping bag and everything else, nah, I wouldn't choose to go under it. What I would do is I would go over it. So let's go back down under here. And let's take a look. This is how I would go over that. And now I'm going to stop right here and talk about something else. See these two branches? There's two broken branches there. Well, of course, I took a look at those, and at first I'm thinking, why are they broke? I took some pictures and I took snapshots of everything here before I moved in on any of it. But it makes sense to me that if you're going to go over top of here to go in, your boot's probably going to drag on that. That could very likely be why this is muffed up. I'm going to walk over it. Oh, yeah, there. My boot just hit it. My leg's dragging over it. Well, what else? Well, them two sticks would be right in the way, wouldn't they? So I would snap them two sticks. So I believe that the reason why that tree is all disturbed, why those branches are broke right there, it's got nothing to do with any Sasquatch. It's fishermen and women coming up here to enjoy themselves. They're coming over the log, breaking the branches, and coming through. Now, set all that aside. Let's keep checking this out. Come over here. Obviously, people might just choose to walk right completely around, and as the year progresses, they probably will just make a path around this, or somebody will cut the tree out of the way. I've been, excuse me, I've been looking at this tree here, and this tree here, and any types of branches above it, looking for fresh snaps at a high height above the natural human height, the average human height. You don't really see any disturbance up there. There's some loose bark. You'd think that if a big old 800-pound Sasquatch came over here to shove this tree down, he might have disturbed some stuff. If it was done recently, you would think that we would see some impressions, but we don't. But what else? Well, I'll tell you what else. A Sasquatch can make his way right on over here, hopping from rock to rock, grabbing onto a tree, hanging off the tree. He doesn't want to leave no feet tracks. He's trying to stay incognito. That's another aspect you got to look at. So the root structure. You can clearly see that there is nothing on this side that was holding that tree from going over. So it went over. It still may have been pushed, but we can't say that for sure. But what else caught my eye? So I start taking a look at this tree, because I'm wondering, you know, something I learned from a fella that I admire in the world of Sasquatch research. Said, you know, Sasquatch like to have fun, and young Sasquatch, or, you know, jump on a tree and start walking down the tree and start kicking the branches off and just having a good old time and jump off. And I learned that, so I started looking for this. So let's take a look. So we start coming up through. We see any kind of disturbance whatsoever. We see that's not really that fresh of a break. We got a crack in the tree, but that would be maybe from falling. But up here, we've got a fresh break. That's broke off. Now, anybody could have done that. Could have reached over to get under the log with their pack, could have snapped it off. All right. I don't see much. Here's some more breaks. There's a little bit of disturbance on this tree up through there. And there's a big old chunk of bark that's missing out of this tree right here. There, I just snapped one myself walking by. Right? Maybe there was a branch on this tree as it came down that knocked that little bit of bark off. It's entirely possible as well. So once I got up to this end of the log, now I'm looking for the jump off point. Maybe they go up, swing right around, grab onto that tree, swing, and jump right over there 15 feet or so. So let's go take a look. At first glance, I don't see any prominent impressions in the ground. I see where there's been animals ripping and tearing and pecking away at this tree over here. I'm looking at a bunch of really brittle, dried up white pine branches. They're not snapped off. Nothing big moved through there. Could have swept right down through there. Okay, so we really don't see anything that's sticking right out without getting a magnifying glass out and really starting to go to town, which I don't think that this is really worth doing so. So you can see it's fresh, right? See where it peeled it right off? And I say it's fresh because I was up here, and whether it was 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 3.5 weeks, this tree wasn't across this trail when I was up here last. So it has recently has, you know, fallen. All right. So, is it Sasquatch? Did he push a tree across there and jump on it and run up it and jump off the other side? Or Was he just maybe half thinking, you know, shove this tree across the trail. I'm sick of these guys coming up here bothering us. Maybe they'll block them off, you know? Who knows? So let's finish this up, huh? All right. Then we're gonna wrap this up. We definitely know that it's entirely possible that all of this is just perfectly natural. But you have to stop and take a little time when you run into these things and take a look at what's going on. If you just walk right by, give it no mind, then, well, you know, it's going to take a big slap in the face to get you to pay attention to anything. And it's really hard to come across anything that's remotely sign of Sasquatch, especially over here in the Adirondacks, I think. Which, you know, out in the, you know, Pacific Northwest, I think they have a really heavy population. Down south, I think they have a really heavy population. Up here in the Adirondacks, I think we have a population, but I don't think we have a heavy population. So the chances of you coming across a family of Sasquatch or a lone rogue male is far and few between. Although, you know, Pennsylvania, I think, is either first or second in sightings, not that far away. A little warmer climate, not really too sure yet. But this tree right here, all the branches across the top of that tree are cleaned right off. You look underneath of it, and there's still a bunch of branches. Let's take a look at that real quick. You see what I'm saying? There's just nothing on the top. And mind you, I just broke one off right there. I can see where that one's broke off. They're broke off here and there. These, honestly, these almost look like they were sawn off. Isn't that something? Yeah, they look like they were sawn off. All right, so if that tree was standing at one time, I wonder if somebody actually had taken a saw when it had live branches and had sawn them off. Maybe when the tree was younger, maybe them branches protruded out here and they were grooming the trail. Well, you know, so many things to take a look at, but we've got a trail across, we got a tree across the road, or across the trail. Guess I better learn how to talk, huh? But let's get over on the other side of that mountain. I think about 5 different times I've talked about going over there and really checking that out. So I want to get over there. Let's get her done.